welcome to the Business of Vibes podcast. The holiday season is practically around the corner. We can all hear the jingle bells singing, and some nice gifts from Amazon are waiting underneath the Christmas tree. Anyway, this week we have yet another exclusive bonus episode for you, featuring the panel discussion from the App Promotion Summit San Francisco 2024. As you know, we organize the App Promotion Summit several times a year to bring together app marketing, growth, product CRM, and revenue executives. These events feature panels where industry professionals share their experiences and insights on emerging trends that significantly impact the sector. During this year's App Promotion Summit San Francisco, we held a panel dedicated to AI breakthroughs in mobile app marketing. It was hosted by Jenny Pollock, mobile app expert and founder of Women and AI, and the panelists were Lindsay Whitmer-Collins, founder and CEO at WLCM, Julian Arnold, co-founder at Snapback, Xenia Kupriyanova, Senior Growth Marketing Manager at House, Nancy Roberts, President at Craftsman Plus. Okay, without any further ado, let's go.
Hello and welcome everyone. I am so glad to be here again at App Promotion Summit San Francisco. I have been here every year thanks to Emily, who always invites. But what I wanted to do to start this off is tell you a little bit about me and a little bit about the panelists. And then we want to learn a little bit about you all. There'll be a Slido up. Please get your questions ready because I want this to be interactive because it's more fun that way. So my name is Jenny K. Pollock and I have a mobile app consulting business, but I also do a podcast called Women and AI, where we shine the light on women doing awesome stuff in AI. And sometimes, of course, that's in mobile apps. But without further ado, let's meet our panelists. So first we have Lindsay Collins Whitmer, and she's over at Welcome App Studio. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing, what you're working on?
Sure, yeah. I'm Lindsay Whitmer-Collins, and how many of you all are making apps? Okay, great. We're like makers in here, cool. So Welcome is an app studio, so we design and develop apps. I founded it 15 years ago, like at the dawn of the App Store. So I've been following, watching, trying to innovate right at the edge of mobile app design and development since basically the dawn of the App Store. So I'm really deeply product focused and also focused on creating products that are really going to not only be built successfully and beautifully, but also win in the marketplace. So that's my perspective.
Amazing. And next up, we have the amazing Jillian Arnold, the founder of Snapback Returns, and I will let her introduce herself. She's just an amazing app founder doing some really cool stuff in the space.
You're too nice, Jenny. First and foremost, thank you, Emily and App Summit for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I'm Jillian Arnold. I am the co-founder of a company called Snapback Returns. Really quickly, raise of hands. How many people in this room have bought something online? Now keep your hand raised if you've ever forgotten to return that one thing you bought online. So our app, Snapback Returns, we're a mobile app. Once Google verifies us, which should be soon, you'll be able to sync all of your online purchases, and then all of your receipts will be organized with how many days are left in your return window. And our AI actually just automatically calculates how many days are left, and then you'll get a return reminder before your return is due, so you get your refund and you don't miss a return.
Amazing. I know I have the app downloaded and I have a couple things that definitely need to get sent back. But next up, we have Xenia Kormakova at House. This is the hardest part, is pronouncing her company. Honestly, I've been practicing all day. House. I know it, I use it, but I always want to say House. So tell us more about what you do for them and everything else you're up to.
Right, so yeah, my name is Xenia and I'm a Senior Growth Marketing Manager at House. So House is an app and platform for all things interior design and renovation. So it's a board to get inspired, to find a professional for your next project, and also to shop for things for a home. So at House, I lead the lifecycle marketing for consumers, which is email push, SMS, in-app, with the goal to retain, monetize, and engage the users. And I've been in the email and CRM world for the last 8 years. And yeah, super excited to be on the panel with this amazing women.
Amazing. And last but not least, we have the amazing Nancy Roberts over at Craftsman Plus. Can you tell us more about what you're working on?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Jenny, and thank you to At Promotion Summit for having me. So my name is Nancy Roberts. I am the president at Craftsman Plus, and we're a creative technology company. So we work with clients such as Activision, Amazon, Duolingo, DraftKings. We also have the game engine that's behind Ubers and Lyfts. So last time any of you guys were in an Uber or a Lyft and you were asked to play a game, might have been like a Starbucks game or win some chicken nuggets from McDonald's, maybe basketball toss. I'm terrible at basketball toss. I actually recorded myself playing it in the real world so that I can send it to my team, completely missed the shot. We're the game engine behind that. So excited to be here and talk all about AI with this awesome group of ladies.
All right, well, let's jump in. So I know AI is like the hottest topic out there. Everyone's talking about it all the time. But what I'm really curious about is how the group feels. You know, people are often worried, is AI taking my job? Is AI going to make things that I'm doing less relevant? And one of the things I want to do actually is encourage you all to use AI, because there's this Harvard Business Review study, and it looked at people doing a few different tasks. And the people without AI training performed a certain way. The people with AI use and training performed much better. And of course, the people that didn't have access to the AI performed even lower. And so if you want to be at the top of the piece here, that's going to be knowing how to use AI. It's a tool in your toolkit. But what I want to hear from our lovely panel today is how they're using AI as a tool. So who wants to jump in on that? Jillian, you seem like you want to. Let's go.
Why not? Our mobile app, we use OpenAI, and basically we use the input to, I guess I'm saying, calculate how many days are left in your return window, but we had to manually go through tons of retailers and create the data for then the AI to be trained on it. So that is how we are using AI. However, tangentially, if that's the correct word, when I was working at Shoppable, another technology company, I led a team of customer success managers. And as soon as OpenAI or ChatGPT was released, I trained my entire team on prompts, and that completely increased my team's efficiency, and it also just improved the quality of client emails that went out. It was a great starting point, like a draft for an email.
I mean, I think there's 3 things that AI does. Like, the way that I've been thinking about it is, like, we've been writing with crayons and now we have oil paints. Like, it's a whole new, wow, like a new toolbox, right? And there's 3 things that AI can do that we really couldn't do as well before. One is it can digest vast sums of information fast and come up with a summary for us. So it can do that. It can learn. So we've had machine learning before. Now we call it AI, I guess. I think it's sort of been rebranded. We've had it for a while, but we haven't had access to it as individual developers, and now we can. So the third thing is that it has language, right? Which is the thing that we're typically, that was most people's entry point was ChatGPT. So it can digest a lot of information, it can talk about that information, and it can learn. And at each stage of your development process, think about how that can help you. So from, concept, the beginning concept, like at Welcome, we use AI to do fast, quick, accurate market research. So we could do 1,200 interviews in 12 hours, which before, market research is very time consuming. It's very expensive, especially for small entrepreneurs. It's just not, you just couldn't do it. So we can do that now. With development, you can use these tools in any number of ways through your product, like you're talking about. We use it also to help us troubleshoot if we get legacy code that was built by another company that's like a big pile of trash and we have to figure our way through it. We use AI to help us navigate. So I think that in that, we don't need to understand how AI works to use it, the same way we don't need to understand how a CD player works to listen to a CD, which is a little bit of a throwback. But we just need to know what the players are out there so that we can start using it. And so it's almost just like when you're out there looking at vendors, do they have an intelligent product, or are they wearing the technical equivalent of skinny jeans, right? Like they're not. This isn't a product that's going to be learning, that's going to be digesting information for you. Part of me thinks like the dashboard, like, is the dashboard dead? Because we can now talk to our data. We should be talking to our data. We should have AI make sense of our data for us rather than, the old way of doing things, which is, trying to navigate dashboards and somebody else deciding what questions we should be asking and how we should be answering them. I could go on and on and on about where we can layer AI into our processes, and I'd be happy to do that after this, but I'll let somebody else.
I don't know,
jump
Lindsay.
in.
I still love my dashboards. Like I use AI to feed the dashboard, but I still love looking at a dashboard, seeing at a glance what my KPIs are, like where I'm standing in terms of revenue, in terms of optimizations within the company, and seeing those recommendations that AI is making for me. I would say that I can't imagine my life without AI right now because it saves me like a 30-minute email. I'm one of those folks that sits and stares at my screen until the solution just comes out to me. And it might be like this epiphany moment, but with AI, a 30-minute email now takes me 3 minutes. I just jot down my thoughts, like rambling thoughts, and I ask AI to compose it into an email that is clear and concise, use emojis, and it spits it out for me, and I proofread it. So keeping humans in the loop, I proofread everything that AI outputs for me to make sure that it sounds like me. Because, don't use any rocket emojis. I saw an article that if you use a rocket emoji, it looks like it's been generated by AI. So I've removed rocket emojis from all of my marketing comms. But everything from using ChatGPT to help me compose my email, uploading anonymized data to help me glean any kind of insights of conversion data. We're all sitting on rows and thousands of rows of data that we need to make sense of. And every single company that provides this data to you gives it to you in a different format. AI can do that for you, right? And it gives you, and you tell it what to do. Like, give me, analyze this data. This is what I'm looking for. I want to see where ROAS is over 100 and give me the points where, my creative outperformed all of these other ones. And I don't have to comb through that data. I don't have to write any formulas. And I'm training the model, but also pay the $20 for ChatGPT 4 because then it's private and you're not training other people's models.
Absolutely. You've got to read those terms of service, and it is worth it to show out for the corporate account. Also, anonymizing your data is important. But what I'm really hearing as a common theme is using the AI to help. So you're in charge and you ask it what you need, it performs, and then you check it again. And so there's a lot of that work that still has to be done by humans. For people who maybe haven't included AI in their marketing and their product-led growth, I'm curious if, Xenia, if you can tell us a little bit more about what you're doing or what you'd recommend if people haven't gotten started yet.
Yeah, totally. So totally agree with all of you that AI is our co-pilot, right? So I treat it as another tool, a very intelligent tool that can digest data quickly, right? Get to me some creative concept. I use it for brainstorming a lot. I also have a blank screen problem, right? So just not starting from the blank definitely helps. And I also see it as a very efficiency improvement tool. So in my role, I use and I work with a lot of copy. And usually, we have a copywriting team that writes a copy for us. We have certain copy guidelines. And, the process takes a while to get creatives out and, get them tested, get the results, feed them back again into the funnel, and iterate again. Now with AI, I can get the copy suggestions in a matter of seconds. I can introduce into my campaigns, get the results out. We have analytical models that analyze the performance, right? So now I see what creative works the best. Now the model knows what works best, and it's better and better every time as we run it. So that's definitely amazing, right? So in my experience, it really elevates a lot of the operational work. So I'm more productive. I can get more things done. I can move faster. I can test my concepts faster. And as a result, deliver better results for the business. And also it's a creative tool, right? So it really, like I see it as a little, right, co-pilot, someone I can kind of work with, right? Ask a question and it answers back. It's pretty creative, right? It can generate a wildest array of ideas, marketing concepts, strategies that lay as a foundation for my brainstorm, right? So I'm bringing to the team, we have already a pretty big field of things to play with, and that, again, it just sparks more creativity in the team. And as far as where to start, I think, we already mentioned some of the great applications of that, but really, ChatGPT and any other of the chatting interfaces with AI, just, again, use it just to speak it with an intelligent copilot of yours, right? And if you can fit to it more information and learn more about your business or your business goals or, state of things, it can provide really smart results and ideas back. So definitely using it for research, ideation, and then
and if you don't know what tool to use, ask AI to tell you. So
there's a great search engine, right? It's called, is there an AI for that?
Oh, I just use Perplexity. I'm addicted to Perplexity.
Perplexity is great too.
Yeah.
I just tried that because of your lady's recommendations. I love Perplexity.
What did you think as a first-time Perplexity user? What were your thoughts, Jillian?
I liked it. So I've tried Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, Anthropic. I've tried a lot, but I'm not gonna lie, I like ChatGPT, probably just because I'm the most familiar with it, but I really enjoyed Perplexity.
Mm-hmm. Well, it gives its sources, which is why I really like it. But I think, there are thousands of new AI startups that are gonna help you with all these various use cases. And so, often as developers, we'll work with OpenAI or, some larger model to create our special use case. But if you have like a specific thing that you're trying to do, somebody's probably built that startup. And so like asking like, here's what I'm trying to do. Give me like 3 startups, AI startups that can do this for me and rank them. And also I want you to create a comparison matrix for me about this and this and this. Use that tool to help you find the tools. And also you can ask it how to talk to it. I was working on prompt engineering for a project and I wasn't getting the output I wanted. I was like, you're not doing this right. Like, what am I doing wrong? And I was like, well, how about you ask it to me this way? And I was like, okay, it can help you use it.
Yeah. Absolutely. AI is able to tell you about itself. And one of the things I'm hearing from the panel aligns with one of the things I like to say a lot is let AI handle the mundane so you can focus on the extraordinary. And one of the things I really want to do with this conversation is get some questions from you guys, because I have a great list here and we can go through mine, but I think it'll be more fun if we go through yours and answer what you're thinking about. So thank you to whoever popped in some questions, but keep them coming. I wanted to circle back to this one. Can you speak more specifically how you've used AI for fast, quick, accurate market research? Yeah. One of the things that I do real quick is taking all of those reviews in the App Store and run it through the AI. I don't have to read them all anymore. You can say even, hey, go in there, summarize these, give me the top 3 good things, the top 3 bad things, and also I want pull quotes from those reviews associated with that. Lindsay, it seems like you had some advice on this piece.
Check out heyjuno.com. They do like personal interviews. They can just interview people rapidly using AI. So check that out if you want to do like huge market research with a large cohort of people fast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are any of you using market research and AI together, or not yet in your orgs?
I'll mention a tool you mentioned.
Which one?
The ChatGPT Mastery. Okay, so on Instagram, follow
I like that
ChatGPT
account.
Mastery, and then they'll tell you the prompts that you should use. But that's a Nancy resource.
Yeah, I mean, it's a social media account, ChatGPT Mastery on Instagram, but they post very frequently, like different prompts that will change your life, right? And things that you're not thinking about. And so as we're thinking about how we're trying to train models to give us the optimum answers, like we have to train ourselves to understand how to ask these questions. And I had this moment a few weeks ago, and this has nothing to do with my professional life, but my son was writing a report on Vietnam. And he was trying to find out, like, you know, what are the best cuisines from Vietnam? And so I'm watching him use ChatGPT on his phone. He didn't like the first answer. And so he all he wrote in was, give me another sentence. And I go into the problem, and I'm thinking, okay, I have to structure my prompt this way. I have to make sure that it gives me a clear and concise answer, sound human, you know, use emojis, whatever it is. But it's so simplistic. Like, you have to train yourself into having that conversation with your GPT or your AI that you're using to give you the answers that you want. You know, like, it's sometimes I feel like the barrier is ourselves. We're afraid to get into it because it's this periphery thing and I can do it better, you know, because we're in that moment where we're learning how to utilize all these new tools, and we haven't had access to that anymore. I mean, in the past, where, you know, we're used to using Google as our brain. We just have to make that pivot where we're using a GPT or an AI as our ancillary brain. Like, instead of saying like, oh, let me Google that, like, you can probably find it a lot quicker if you just ask ChatGPT.
My brain is now Perplexity. I don't know who else has the new iPhone 16, but there's that button. You can make it do anything you want. So I set it up with Perplexity. I was just gonna test it out. It was gonna be for a quick minute, and I haven't changed it. It's been like that for, you know, days. And I don't think I'm gonna change it in the foreseeable future because it shows so much information so quickly, and it cites those sources, and it's just great. Like, at my house we say, can you Google that, or let's Google that, and actually we mean Perplexity. So that's been a really interesting change. I'm curious if any of you have outsourced to a favorite model. I know a few of us have mentioned it, but I'd love to hear from each of you maybe where your external brain is these days in terms of an AI model.
Also Perplexity for search and finding information, for sure. For creative writing, I use ChatGPT more. I use Gemini to summarize YouTube videos. So Perplexity doesn't do that. ChatGPT doesn't do that. But if you want, you know, just get a quick summary of what's in the video, you can ask Gemini. It can do that. But then there are also, you know, people who are concerned with privacy and, like, you know, uploading a lot of sensitive corporate information to ChatGPT. Even if you have a corporate subscription, I mean, you're still sending data to some cloud. You can host your own ChatGPT or other models, other LLMs on your machine. It's an app called Jane AI. So you can pick what model you want to run, and it runs locally on your computer. So
Cool.
For sensitive type of information, that is advisable.
I think that's really exciting because I think that if we're able to take these models and run them on our own device, that means that our content's not accessing anyone's cloud, which means nobody has access to it. So that sort of unlocks the ability to actually give the AI all of our information.
Exactly. Yeah,
like
really sensitive.
banking, health information, that sort of stuff you can't you
don't wanna-
safely
yeah.
or legally really share. And so now it's like, okay, here you can have all my data. Then we move into personal assistants that can actually really help us. And I think that's the next frontier.
Sure.
Well, Lindsay, you suggested an AI to me, I want to say it was last year, and I used it all year long until I switched over to ChatGPT 4. But copy.ai, like it helped me so much with copywriting. But then I was testing it against ChatGPT 4 and it outputs the same results. But the great thing about it is you can upload samples of your own writing, so you can maintain your own brand voice and you can, have it write within your own guidelines and output social media calendars with captions or, LinkedIn posts about changing jobs or whatever it is that you're trying to announce.
That's a really good point, is what you put in is also kind of what you get out. Everyone says garbage in, garbage out. I'm trying to do a rebrand, gold in, gold out. And I'm really curious who's uploading information like their brand book or past things they've done or published to AI when they're asking questions. Is anyone doing that? Raise hands.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna have a great time when you go home. Honestly, check it out. It's a lot of fun when you can upload your own information. I wanted to get to some of the audience questions here, and I think we've touched on this a little bit with Perplexity, but how do you find the confidence to trust the AI results? There are so many hallucinations. How do you guys handle that? I'd love to hear.
Within our product right now, since we're still in beta, we're small, we have a very small list of retailers, we're manually checking the data still and making sure it's accurate.
Like spot checking or checking everything?
Yeah, it's more of a spot check, maybe like on a monthly basis, just to make sure that everything's accurate, the model's learning what it should be learning, and the output's there.
That reminds me of my conversation with you, Jenny, right before this, when we just had a quick chat, and I think the fear of using AI and the fear of having AI take your job is that we're framing it in a way where we're thinking that it can do everything that we can. AI cannot do everything that we can, right? The way that I like to frame it is that before we were using machine learning and automations to do our QA. Like when you're writing code, you have an automated test QA script that runs to make sure that everything compiles. But now the tables have turned a little bit where we use AI and then we're doing the QA to make sure that we keep the humans in the loop, and we're making sure that we see those hallucinations. Like the hallucinations are becoming fewer now, especially in Gen AI. Like we're not seeing 6 fingers and 3 legs and 3 eyeballs, but we've come to a place now where we can automate all of this, and then we check the data to make sure that it serves our purpose.
Yeah, I think I will agree with you. Like the hallucinations are a lot less, and it's like phenomenal how fast this technology has gotten so much better, and it's going to continue to get better and better and better. I mean, in the beginning, there were lots of hallucinations. Like ChatGPT couldn't remember the last thing you said to it. Like it's just made huge leaps so fast. I like Perplexity because it has sources, so it's really easy to figure out if you can trust those results or not and where they came from. And then, I've also been doing a bunch of stuff with images, and I do see hallucinations, like weird things happening in like the background of my images. And so I've started creating layers that will I'll create like, basically background, middle, foreground, and then create these like regeneration loops so that I can control for errors. It's like, if you want to talk about that in more detail later, but there's just kind of these like layery checks, but you can't make everything perfect, but there are ways to do it.
That's a really interesting point. So when I make AI images, I use a few different things. I love Adobe Firefly, and I'll use Midjourney and other ones, but the physics isn't quite right all the time. That's how I can tell when it's an AI photo. I'm like, that shouldn't be leaning that way. Like there's just something like a little bit off. And as these models continue to learn, they're gonna get better like we've seen. But in terms of image generation, either at work or personally, what tools are you all using?
I use Leonardo.ai because I'm making like creative, like book illustrations, things like that.
Yeah, you're working on something very special.
Yeah, it's very unique.
But I mean,
Not
for
normal.
everyday stuff, like Dolly is just so easy and it's accessible. Midjourney it generates great images, but it's a little bit more complex. Like those two have been at the top for quite a while for me.
Yeah.
You make cool stuff with that. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really amazing stuff you can do. I mean, I have a friend who makes images on Midjourney of motorcycles, and it's all made out of different stuff, like a motorcycle made out of grass, or things like, chrome, or just weird like forks. Like it's just all over the place. Like this thing isn't real. You wouldn't see it out there, but it's really cool. His Instagram is Daniel Lazo, and so that's a good follow just to see kind of what's out there and pushing the bounds on Midjourney. One of the things that happens a lot with AI is bias, and I want to talk about that because it's a big topic. We're not going to be able to cover all of it today, but I do see the audience asking, does anyone have suggestions on how to combat that or how to deal with that or what to do?
I mean,
Go ahead. I don't want to be
Yeah, we stumped the panel. I can jump in here. Oh, go ahead, Lindsay.
Well, what I'll say is, because I work a lot with images, I see bias. And even though the, you can tell that the tool itself and the people behind it are really trying to make sure certain things don't happen. The reality is most of the people using these AI tools are making sexy girlfriends for themselves. And you see that bias in basically they just try to make everybody sexy, like even and it's like in a bad way, and so you have to like build in these controls. And I think the bias in your results, it kind of depends on what results you're going for, but I think it is 100% there. It doesn't matter how great the integrity of the company is. The model is reacting to the way people are using it and so you have to be really aware of it. It's 100% biased.
Yeah. AI reflects the society that's building it. So in order to fix bias in AI, we'd have to fix bias in our society. And I think that's a really big problem that I'm not qualified to solve. But what I can do is check my results to make sure they're accurate. When I say, hey, can I get an image of a tech CEO on stage? It's always a guy. Even if you ask for a woman, sometimes it returns a guy. And so it's just, there's these things out there. The model itself can be biased. The training data can be biased. One of the ones for text that I really like to use is really interesting because it's been trained on stories of other people and specifically diverse stories. And so, of course, I'm blanking on the name, but I will post it on LinkedIn later along with our recommendations from the group. So check that out. I wanted to ask the panel, as we're looking forward, to 2025 and beyond, what are some of the trends you see coming up in mobile and in AI? What should we be thinking about now so we're ready in Q1?
I can share an opinion of recent post from Andreessen Horowitz. So it's a big VC firm. I'm pretty sure we all know about it. They stay on top of software and AI specifically. So they say that every white-collar job will have a copilot, and soon we'll have an AI agent. So that means, right, all the mundane tasks will be automated. At some point, so right now we don't allow AI to take action. We look at the results, we approve it, right? We fact check, we make sure it's all staying true to what we want to get across. But that future where AI can actually be really accurate is not that far. And so we'll have soon a lot more time on our hands to, right, not focus on operational things and do more big level thinking, right? So for a marketing role, when I started doing lifecycle marketing, it usually was a team of 10 people, and it's a lot of people doing work. Then as marketing automation progressed, we were a team of 3. Now I'm a team of 1.5. And we're running the same scale of program, running the same amount of emails and pushes and analyzing data and crunch numbers. But the technology is doing a lot of work on the back end for us. So the role of a marketer just uplifts, right, every time. And same for the founder, for the product manager, for the engineers. Now we can just be a much better equipped professionals and start to look out for more opportunities to, do more product work, do more brand work, understand sort of the context, see the trends, and position ourselves, our product, our brands in a better way. So I'm really excited for that. But what's ahead is keep staying on top of the technologies, keep trying them, adopting them as much as you can, right? And really finding out your best use case, and I think that's a good path to pursue.
I think I need a co-pilot that'll take my Macy's return when I'm using snapback returns, so that I don't miss my delivery or my return window, and physically take it to Macy's for me.
So the robots are really interesting.
Yes.
Advancement. What Xenia was just saying is such good news for small entrepreneurs and small teams, because now you can do house level senior marketing with 1.5 people. So that's really exciting. I think if you are designing a mobile app, if I can just speak from the product perspective, things you want to think about is like, do you have 5 navigational tabs at the bottom of your app? Then that means you're designing for 2015. Or you might be. I'm just saying, just think about it. If you have forms, you can probably do that better. If you have search and filter, you can probably do that better. If you have dashboards, things like that can be up-leveled with AI. Whether or not that's appropriate for your use case is, up to you. But I think those are moments where I would think, I think we could probably do that better now.
Well, and we have to think about it in terms of volume, right? Like the last time I created a website, my web dev company that I was using, that I was outsourcing to, told me that I could not put in any search for my blog because the volume of data was just way too much. It was a WordPress backend.
Interesting. Yeah.
And now with AI, like all of that data, it takes milliseconds to return a search result within my own compendium of blog posts. And I don't have to depend on a web dev shop that can't build in the search plugin to my WordPress site.
Yeah, it's expanding opportunity. Jillian, I'm wondering if you can share from the founder perspective, what should we be looking at if we're getting a new vendor, if we're adding AI to our app in 2025, what should the audience be thinking about?
Gosh, I'd be thinking about making sure you understand which LLM model, works best for your product. One of the things that we're exploring, which is new to me, is more of the AI, I guess, task agent. So I personally think this is so cool, and I'm hoping we can integrate it. But basically, if you have a return or if your item is damaged, we're looking at an AI that can actually call the retailer on your behalf and do it all for you. So to me, that just blows my mind, where I could have an AI just call whatever retailer and have it return.
And the retailer will have an AI answer that call.
Right. It's reciprocal.
I'll have my AI call your AI.
Yes,
absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
One of the things I want to encourage all of you to do is just play with AI. It's out there and it's changing and it's fun, and I want to welcome you to join us. Thank you so much for the time. We had a great time chatting. If you have additional AI questions, please find any of us after. And I did remember that AI I was talking about that I forgot. It's called Latimer, and it's specifically trained on diverse stories. So try it as a little change to your ChatGPT or Perplexity. And it does have, free plan and everything as well. So thank you all so much, and I wish you the best of luck as you hand over your apps marketing and the mundane things that you don't want to do so you can focus on your app's extraordinary. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Business of Apps podcast. For more, head on over to businessofapps.com.